Men don't tattoo phoenixes. Women don't tattoo long. And evil Long's eyes are never painted. The statue of Guan Yu never opens its eyes. Tattooing was called xiqing in ancient times. It is a Chinese culture with thousands of years of history. In ancient times, animals were considered totems. Shaving the hair and getting tattoos were common practices of primitive witchcraft. Tattooing evolved from the teachings of the Zhou Yi. Throughout history, people believe that tattoos are life totems on their bodies and can change a person's destiny. Following the principles of feng shui from the Zhou Yi, using ghosts, deities, and asuras as life totems for tattooing, the person who changes destinies through tattooing is called a Yin Tattoo Master. My name is Cheng Yu, and I am a traditional tattooist. A middle-aged man named Zhang Tianba came to my shop today. He claimed that he was introduced by a friend and came specifically to ask me to modify his tattoo design. When I heard that he was introduced by a friend, I quickly got up and welcomed him in. Then Zhang Tianba ordered 2 of his men to guard outside and not let anyone in. But when Zhang Tianba unbuttoned his clothes, revealing the tattoos on his body, but I couldn't help but stare blankly. It turned out to be a dragon tattoo across his shoulder. Seeing my surprised expression, Zhang Tianba looked very proud. Seeing my reaction, I decided to show some real skills. Holding my chin, I slowly said, "In ancient times, the Long Lord Descends was invincible. But as the saying goes, a fierce dragon cannot defeat the local snake. However, brother, with your strong spirit and tough luck, combined with the skills of a master, you've not only withstood but have definitely been smooth sailing in recent years. But your dragon forehead is engraved with a king, colorful and dark green. A pair of tiger teeth poking out of the dragon's mouth, symbolizing the resemblance of a tiger emerging from a dragon. This is a major taboo. If nothing unexpected happens, you are already a dead man." Upon hearing this, Zhang Tianba's eyes were filled with shock. He grabbed my hand excitedly and said, "Brother, you indeed have great skills. I have asked so many people, but only you figured it out. Please quickly make some changes to the picture to save me." Hearing his words, I nodded. Later, I touched his tattoo and said, "Bro, isn't it foolish to get this kind of tattoo? This dragon looks weird and out of place." The conflict between the dragon and the tiger must have made your recent days uncomfortable. With continuous bad luck, beware that disaster might be looming over you. The design is too complicated. The key to a good tattoo lies in its sharp lines and overall coherence. Poorly executed intricate designs may lead to trouble. Do you have any thoughts on it yourself? Can you help me add some details to the eyes? I was also startled when I heard that Zhang Tianba actually wants to add some finishing touches. I asked him, "Do you know what will happen if we add some details to this long?" "Little did I know," Zhang Tianba said. "Adding some finishing touches is definitely a lifesaver. With the eyes of the Long engraved, this dragon will exude great momentum and suppress that tiger." Upon hearing this, I sighed and said, "That makes sense, after all. But you forgot that now Long and the tiger are one body. Giving the evil Long eyes will also give the fierce tiger eyes. Changing it like this will only make things worse and lead to death." Upon hearing my words, Zhang Tianba was scared and sweating profusely. He knelt on the ground, begging me to save his life. I told him not to worry. Let's first make changes to this picture before we continue. Before making changes, I still need to ask about the origin of this Long fighting tiger picture, so that I can address the issue accurately. Later, according to Zhang Tianba, this tiger was left behind by a ghost when it captured him when he was a child. A white tiger with clear color patterns has come to the mountain. Not only did that tiger snatch many livestock, it also killed several hunters who entered the mountain, including his father. Later, everyone was afraid too, so they switched from attacking to defending and set up night watches in the village. But his mother and his brother disappeared. The night watchman said that the 2 of them left on their own, stumbling and staggering. The next night, he had a dream that his missing older brother came to see him, saying there was treasure in the mountains. He followed him out in a daze, and was then carried away by a tiger. He couldn't remember what happened afterwards. The elderly people in the village said that this is the tiger's ghost slave. Tigers do not eat their cubs, but the tiger's ghost slave is an exception. It is said that people who have been eaten by tigers will turn into ghosts controlled by tigers, specifically luring their own relatives to be eaten by the tiger. At that time, a master passed by the village. After hearing about this incident, he borrowed a rifle from the villagers and went into the mountains alone. After half a day, the wise person brought him back. He just went too late, and everyone else had been eaten. He was scared out of his wits, as if his 3 souls and 7 spirits had all fled. The expert said it was as if the spirit of an evil tiger had possessed him. So the expert did a calculation for him. The expert said that since he was born with a strong destiny, he tattooed a dragon design across his shoulder for him. He said that with this evil dragon design, he can defeat the wicked tiger. After hearing his story, I was a bit curious and asked, "If the tiger caught your whole family, why didn't it eat you? Children's meat is more tender and tasty, isn't it?" Zhang Tianba didn't know how to respond when asked this question. He said it's possible that his father killed all 3 tiger cubs. I guess the mother tiger without cubs saw him as a cub. I heard his response and thought it was possible. Perhaps his father also saw this point, so he fought to kill the 3 tiger cubs before he died, giving him a chance to survive. Thinking of these things, Zhang Tianba's expression also looked desolate. And I explained slowly. The pattern you have, the dragon producing a tiger, from the perspective of yin-yang theory, it is the evil tiger's yin spirit causing trouble again. I will remove it for you to take a look. He heard that the problem was solved. Zhang Tianba looked very happy. But he also felt a little worried. Can this picture still serve its original purpose? I turned around and smiled. Don't worry. I guarantee it will be as effective as before. When the pattern is restored, I will give you some finishing touches. With your current fortune, you can even soar to greater heights. Upon hearing my words, Zhang Tianba immediately smiled and said, Thank you for your kind words, Brother Chang. By the way, how much will it cost? I extended 3 fingers to indicate 3,000. Upon hearing this number, Zhang Tianba immediately became anxious. Of course, it wasn't because it was too expensive, but rather he felt it was too cheap. Excitedly he said, Bro, do you look down on me or do you think that my life, Zhang Tianba, is only worth 3,000 yuan? I hastily waved my hand to explain, saying, There are rules in this industry. Editing a picture only takes an hour, so charging 3,000 is already a good deal. After hearing me say this, Zhang Tianba didn't say anything else. He just hugged my hand and said, Yes, bro, I really like you. I, Zhang Tianba, owe you a huge favor. I can't reach out my hand to the turf on your side, but I do know a few brothers who hang out around here. It's absolutely no problem for me to have them take care of you. Shortly after, we exchanged contact information, and Zhang Tianba left. After he left, I looked at the freshly inked ink cartridge and smiled, saying, Lao Huer, can you say something? Upon hearing my call, the ink began to swirl, extending 2 claws. This is the tiger I just sketched from the previous picture. The Yin spirit little tiger timidly exposed its tiger head. It then quickly retreated back. I am considering if it's because of the different language. Without thinking much, I just covered the ink bottle. The one on Zhang Tianba's body is not a female tiger. It is a cub. The tiger mistook him for its own cub, so it didn't eat him. This time, I used long to contend with the tiger, and when the image cracked, I took the cub out. Destiny is always in your own hands. People cannot place all their hopes on ghosts and gods. Just as I was thinking about how to deal with this tiger cub in spirit, suddenly there came Miao Qianqian shouting from outside the house. She asked me that a luxury car just parked at the door, with black-clad bodyguards guarding the entrance. Are you in trouble? I turned around and unkindly replied, Little girl, Don't speak recklessly. That's the big boss coming to visit my store. You have classes in college now, right? If you have nothing to do, don't keep coming over to me. At this moment, Miao Qianqian suddenly picked up a barbed needle. She casually asked, "Are those mysterious things you told me about really effective?" They are definitely effective, but the results take time. And you must have a positive mindset, work actively and earnestly. However, destiny is always in your hands. One cannot rely all hopes on gods and spirits. When she heard this, Miao Qianqian was already a bit impatient. She waved her hand and said, "Okay, brother, don't talk to me anymore. I just asked you one question. I invite you to join me in making big money together." As soon as I heard this, I knew this girl really knows how to make money. But I cannot afford less funding to revitalize the old craft. So I cleared my throat and asked with a smile, "And what about the customers?" Zhao Little Lu, she has now hooked up with a business partner of my dad. That sly little fox is only a few years older than me. When we meet, I have to address her as Auntie. Speaking of Zhao Little Lu's name, I couldn't help but freeze for a moment too. Zhao Little Lu was our school's beauty in high school. I didn't expect that she has entered the upper-class society now. So I agreed to this business deal and told Miao Qianqian to have her come to the store tomorrow. The next afternoon, I looked at the pattern of the dragon and tiger on my hand thoughtfully. I am ready to study it carefully before making any final decisions. At this moment, the store door was suddenly pushed open. A beautiful woman walked in with a high and confident stride. When I saw that Zhao Little Lu had arrived, I quickly stood up to greet her and complimented. "Zhao Little Lu, you are still so beautiful." I didn't expect that Zhao Little Lu would just snort disdainfully and say, "Don't try to get close. Who would want to have any contact with a bunch of losers like you? When Qianqian mentioned you, I thought you were doing big business. Turns out you just run this crappy shop, specializing in tattoos for second-rate people to make a living." Listening to her sarcastic words, I knew she was still the same. So I didn't bother to say much to her and straightforwardly asked, "Miss Little Lu, is there something bothering you?" Zhao Little Lu glanced around my shop and said, "I heard that your tattoos can bring people good luck, help with their careers, and ward off disasters. Is it really that magical? Why don't you tattoo yourself and make it a showcase on your body? I can tell just by looking at you that your skills are not that good." Upon hearing her words, a fire was burning in my heart. I felt that this woman was just looking for trouble, but I forced a smile to ease the awkwardness. Just when I thought this deal was going south, Zhao Little Lu suddenly noticed the painting of the pattern of dragon and tiger on the table. She exclaimed excitedly, "Oh my! How did this super expert end up here at your place?" I knew this woman must be very cultured when she could tell who someone was just by looking at their tattoos. Before I could say anything, Zhao Little Lu's attitude made a 180-degree change. She came up and stopped my hand, saying, "Brother, you really keep a low profile. You're already connected with Zhang Tianba. We are old classmates. You must help me this time. My husband and I haven't been getting along recently. Could you tattoo a picture for me that promotes harmony in marriage and strengthens love?" I shook off her hand. Later, I thought and replied, "In your situation, you can tattoo a lotus flower emerging pure from the mud, symbolizing faithful love." The lotus flower is considered a symbol of the Western Pure Land in Buddhism, representing the nurturing place of the soul. The Buddha's seat is also called a lotus seat, symbolizing purity. Most lotus flowers bloom with paired flowers on a single stem, known as conjoined lotus blooms. But emotions must be pure. Are you sure you are truly in love? Upon hearing my words, Zhao Little Lu also felt a little guilty and quickly said, "Well, it's not true love for us. It's not that I'm impure, but that guy has another woman outside. I must snatch him back, otherwise my status won't be secure. Then I can't help you anymore. I am here to enhance your luck and momentum, to boost what you already have. One is driven by wealth, the other by desire. Without even a foundation of a relationship, how can we talk about fostering love? Xiao Lilu became anxious as soon as I said this. She pushed me against the edge of the table and coquettishly said, "Come on, brother. Can't you really help me? If that's not possible, can you check if there's any vacancy? I can't be your mistress. How about being your secretary?" I watched as her face got closer and closer. I quickly reached out my hand to stop her and said, "No, no, no. I can't accommodate your esteemed highness." At this moment, I remembered the tiger cub Yin spirit that I had just taken out from the painting of Zhang Tianba. I suddenly had an idea in my mind. I then said, "You're lucky. I have another way." When Little Lu heard what I said, his eyes immediately lit up. Excitedly, he asked, "I knew it. I had long noticed that you were hiding something. If Zhang Tianba came to find you, your skills must be extraordinary. Quickly, spill it to me." I looked at the ink cylinder in my hand, hesitated for a while, and said, "Do you know about raising minor demons? I happen to have one on hand. I can help you invite a minor demon to possess you. However, this method is malevolent and may shorten your lifespan, but the effect is absolutely dominant." Upon hearing this, Xiao Lilu couldn't care about so much anymore. She gritted her teeth and said, "Seeking wealth and danger. If that mistress takes over my position, it's the same as destroying me. It's no different from death. I agree." I sighed and didn't say much more. I asked her to take off her top and lie down on the bed. Then I started to prepare the tools on my own. Fierce tiger protecting its cub, please possess the ghost. Excessive greed, ghostly thorns manifesting spirits. My grandfather once said that my luck is bad, and doing this job is too damaging. Hidden merit, lets me tattoo the righteous gods and walk the path of openness and righteousness. But my fate is determined by me, not by heaven. Tattooing, as a craft, is divided into righteous designs and sinister ones. The righteous invite deities, while the sinister summon spirits or ghosts. Each lineage of tattooists has ancestral ghost pattern tattoo designs. In my family, starting from my grandfather, we have accumulated 72 ghost pattern tattoo designs. Many competitors want to eliminate us, but the unique skill of the Chung family cannot be lost with me. I looked at little Lu Zhao lying on the bed and said slowly, "This is not about love. You can't just get a tattoo about love. Since you've been together for so long, I will tattoo something about family love for you. Protective tiger and cubs. I just happen to have a Yin spirit of a tiger cub in my hand. Let it possess you. Even if you are strangers, they will treat you as their closest family." Upon hearing this, Xiao Lilu excitedly exclaimed, "I always thought that a tiger wouldn't eat its own cubs. He definitely won't dare to be cold towards me anymore. This move will definitely work." Seeing that Xiao Lilu had made up her mind, I didn't say much either and immediately began to help her with her tattoo. The protective tiger and cubs tattoo was soon completed. I took out a mirror for her to see the effect. Xiao Lilu looked at the protective tiger and cubs in the mirror and smiled with satisfaction, saying, "It's really beautiful. With this tattoo on my back, my old man at home won't kick me out and will continue to give me money to spend." "Yes, anyway, you're just aiming for wealth and prosperity. After getting this tattoo, he will treat you like his own child, protecting you like a fierce tiger protecting its cubs." Listening to these words, Xiao Lilu was overjoyed. He quickly put on his clothes and planned to go home to see the effect. Before leaving, she gave me a deposit of 10,000 yuan and said that if it really worked, not to mention the remaining 2,000 yuan, she would directly give me a big red envelope of 100,000 yuan. But before leaving, I still need to remind her, remember, family affection is mutual. If you betray, you are missing the chance to be the protective tiger and cubs. The Yin spirit you worship behind your back will come to settle scores with you. However, Xiao Lilu did not pay attention and just perfunctorily replied to me with a sentence. Looking at the departing Xiao Lilu, I felt a faint uneasiness in my heart, but I can only hope that nothing bad will happen. 3 days later, I leaned against the front door of the shop smoking a cigarette, and Zhao Lilu appeared in front of me in a black convertible sports car. Now, she seems to be dressed as an elegant lady, haughtily saying to me, "Your plan is really amazing, Brother Sheng." Now, she is obedient to me. In just 3 days, she spent more than 5 million on me. I casually stubbed out the cigarette and threw it on the ground, then approached him and said, "Didn't Brother Sheng warn you not to exploit him? 500,000 in 3 days. In a few days, you will empty his pockets. Take it easy and think long term." I didn't expect that Zhao Lilu would disdainfully say, "What's there to fear? If I can't exploit him anymore, I'll just drain him and find another sugar daddy." Upon hearing this, I immediately solemnly said, "Absolutely not." Don't forget my previous reminder. But obviously, the currently excited Zhao Lilu can't hear what I'm saying at all. She was still impatiently taking off her clothes. She asked me to check her tattoo again. I was not vague either, and took her to the tattoo room to start the inspection. After confirming that there were no issues, I again reminded her not to take long showers recently, avoid soaking in hot springs, respect the tattoo, and live a good life with Brother Sheng. After all, there are deities watching over you. Zhao Lilu readily agreed and got up to leave. She never mentioned money, so I had to muster up the courage and proactively approach her, saying, "Miss Lilu, didn't we agree that if it really works, you would give me a big red envelope with 100,000 renminbi in it?" Unexpectedly, Zhao Lilu actually denied knowing me and turned hostile. She turned back, glared at me, and loudly said, "I had someone investigate. If you really didn't know that Zhang Tianbao person and just passed by to get a tattoo, yet left in less than an hour, are you still trying to deceive me?" Being scolded by him like that, the anger in my stomach surged up all at once. What deception, whether or not it's deception? You yourself don't even know whether this tattoo is useful or not. Zhao Lilu sneered and said, "Fortunately, it works, or else I would have shut down your smelly cheating shop." Seeing the disgusting face of Zhao Lilu, I clenched my fists in anger. I also understand now that this woman is here just to show off and deceive me. I will have one last check of the tattoo. When she saw that I stopped talking, Zhao Lilu still looked very smug and said, "Don't blame me either. That's just how the world is. People devour each other. Let me give you a good lesson. There is a saying that goes like this: despicableness is the passport of the despicable. Nobility is the epitaph of the noble." I have nothing to say as I watched Zhao Lilu saunter away with pride. I was actually played by her this time. Indeed, heroes still struggle at the beauty's gate. It's quite embarrassing. But is the matter really over like this? Of course not possible. Zhao Lilu, who returned home, had long forgotten all my instructions. As soon as she returned home, she wanted Brother Sheng to give her another 10 million. She wants to go out and have fun on the weekend. But Brother Sheng really has no money left. Zhao Lilu has already spent over 5 million in the past few days. The company's liquidity is so low that if it's embezzled, the company won't be able to recover. Upon hearing this, Zhao Lilu kicked him away. She looked displeased and said, "You're unwilling to spend a little money for me. What qualifications do you have to say you love me?" Brother Sheng suggested that we sell the company and travel around the world together. How about flying together like two birds with one wing? Zhao Lilu, after hearing this suggestion, expressed a look of disdain, saying, "If you sell the company, how will we live in the future? Do you expect me to eat steamed buns with pickled vegetables with you? If you can't afford to support me, then I will find another sugar daddy." Brother Sheng had nothing more to say at this point. His patience had reached its limit. He was seen grabbing Zhao Lilu's hair. He slammed her heavily onto the table. What was he about to do when he loosened his belt? Zhao Lilu thought he was up to something when he saw him like that. She had no awareness of the seriousness of the problem at all. She was still saying, "Okay, this will be the last time. After this, we will each go our separate ways, owing nothing to each other. Let's not hinder each other's path to prosperity. Little did they know, at this moment Brother Sheng had completely lost his sanity. He was possessed by the tiger cub-eating spirit, even though a tiger does not eat its cubs. But Zhao Little Lu's betrayal has already ruined this chance to protect the tiger and cubs. A few days later, I was idle in the tattoo shop with nothing to do. When I was about to go out for a walk, Miao Qianqian suddenly ran over in a panic. She asked me if I had watched the news, that Brother Sheng actually ate Zhao Little Lu alive. The moment I saw the news, my heart skipped a beat. I snatched the phone from Miao Qianqian's hand. I seriously looked it up. Famous tycoon Huang Qiangxing killed his lover Zhao Little Lu at home. The method was very cruel. The suspect has been arrested. After being arrested, Huang Qiangxing had no expression on his face. He even showed a sinister smile. It is said that a tiger does not eat its own cubs, but this kind of person who disregards family ties should be eliminated. I want to merge with her. Let her be forever in my body, never able to leave me. After reading the entire report, I also understand the power of this ghost tattoo. I have long warned Zhao Little Lu to take this relationship seriously. I didn't expect the tragedy to still happen. What ultimately consumed her was her insatiable greed. The woman is 6 months pregnant, but she still wants to bring her dog along to get a tattoo. Her name is Xiao Rou. She is also my former classmate. When I saw her pregnant and wanting to get a tattoo, I quickly reminded her that it's not advisable to get tattoos during pregnancy as it may affect the fetus. But Xiao Rou touched the dog's head and said, "I must get a tattoo. My family's manhwa is not going to live much longer. I have to tattoo it on my body to bless me. If you don't do it, I will find someone else." I looked at the lively golden retriever in front of me and couldn't help but feel puzzled. How could you tell it's not going to live much longer when it's so lively and active? At that moment, I noticed the slightly swollen belly of Xiao Rou, with 2 strong paws pounding vigorously, as if pushing against her abdomen, looking as if begging for help. That's a ghost fetus. I was also startled when I saw this scene. I paused before managing to squeeze out a smile and asked, "Have you recently gotten involved with something shady?" Xiao Rou looked somewhat surprised when I figured it out. But actually, this is nothing. In our line of work, you can always pick up some tricks of the trade. I asked her to tell me about it. Maybe I can help her solve it. I said this out of goodwill. But Xiao Rou doesn't seem to appreciate it. When she walked out of the store, she cryptically said to me, "I didn't expect you to have some skills, but this matter doesn't involve you. I can't tell you because I've already found someone more skilled to help me." Although I don't know what Xiao Rou has hidden from me, there must be something suspicious going on. The next day, Miao Qianqian and I found the so-called Master Zhao mentioned by Xiao Rou, the half-immortal, before we could say anything. Zhao, the half-immortal, already recognized my identity and said, "This young man is from the industry. You have a heavy energy on you. Being able to survive until now proves that your skills are not bad." Before I could even speak, Zhao, the half-immortal, had already figured out my identity. It seemed Xiao Rou's words were true. So I decided to test his words. But this time, he didn't wait for me to speak. Miao Qianqian directly asked, "Uncle, did a guest named Xiao Rou come to see you before?" Upon hearing the name Xiao Rou, Zhao, the half-immortal, was momentarily stunned. He then turned and ran, apologizing to Xiao Rou as he ran, saying that the girl's situation had nothing to do with him. "It's not my fault that she was harmed. Please spare me." Luckily, Miao Qianqian was quick and caught Zhao, the half-immortal, in one go. She then pressed him against the table and asked the old scammer, "Xiao Rou, what exactly happened there? Hurry up and explain it to me clearly." He looked at the imposing Miao Qianqian. Zhao, the half-immortal, instantly became scared. He spoke about the matter with a terrified expression. Her birth chart reveals a karmic flaw. She is fated to bear no offspring. In theory, she is unable to have children her whole life. But now she is pregnant. The child is not conceived normally, perhaps not even human, but a ghost fetus. I later secretly investigated and found that there were constant sounds of dogs whimpering coming from her house. I also saw her sneakily removing dead dogs in the middle of the night. I suspect their whole family are twisted individuals who enjoy abusing dogs. They got what they deserved. My moral compass is not strong enough to discern anything, and she didn't say anything herself. So, I had to just give her some talismans to appease the situation. Please don't trouble me. I did my best. Upon hearing what Zhao, the half-immortal, said, I immediately realized something was amiss. Xiaoro loves dogs so much, so it's unlikely she would abuse them. So I immediately dialed Xiaoro's phone number, intending to ask her directly. Xiaoro, we are all old classmates, so stop hiding it. I already have a general idea of what's going on in your stomach. If you want a way out, tell me the truth. Upon hearing this, Xiaoro hesitated for a while on the phone, then slowly said, I'll tell you, but you must not tell anyone. Otherwise, I won't survive. You know that I have been a top student since I was young, but to maintain this elite lifestyle, I am truly exhausted. I look bright and shining in front of others, but behind the scenes, I am tired like a dog. There are always a lot of pressures that I have nowhere to release. One time I was inspecting the dormitories of 3 interns. Unexpectedly, I caught them abusing a cat. Almost as if possessed, I joined them. I know this is not right. But I got addicted. Later, I locked 3 stray cats in cages and didn't give them any food. In the end, only a skinny black cat was left. When I dissected the black cat, I discovered that she was pregnant with 3 kittens in her belly. The black cat stared at me fiercely before she died. Her eyes were particularly chilling. One night, I had a dream. I dreamed that the black cat climbed onto my stomach and asked me why I did that. After that strange dream, I became pregnant. My husband was over the moon, but I felt something was wrong. In fact, after the black cat incident, those 3 college students had gradually left and died within a few months. But I heard you were carrying a dog corpse in the middle of the night. Is it because the cat spirit came back to find you, leading to a battle between cats and dogs that resulted in the death of your dog? Yes. That's exactly what happened. The cat spirit is very fierce. I had 5 dogs, but 2 of them were killed. Now Mau Mau is also dying. I need to tattoo it on my body to bless and protect me. After hearing this, I understand it now. Cats are spiritual beings to begin with. The black cat that devoured 2 companions is already resembling the king of Gu in the Miao region Gu sorcery. Xiaoro wants to survive. Ordinary tattoos are no longer useful. Now, if he wants to get a tattoo, he has to get a Cerberus tattoo. A woman becomes addicted to abusing cats to relieve stress. She locks 3 stray cats in a cage to make them feed on each other. She unexpectedly raised a king of Gu. She wants to save her life now. Ordinary tattoos are no longer effective. She needs to tattoo Cerberus 3 dogs protecting their master spirit infused tattoo. However, to have this tattoo, she needs to have 3 loyal dog spirits possessing her body to make it work. The next day, Xiaoro brought what was left at home. The blood of the 3 dogs came to me. I took the dog blood from her hands. I looked deeply into her eyes. I asked, You weren't there when they were killed, right? Xiaoro quickly shook her head at the words. No, you said they couldn't know it was me who killed them. Otherwise, they wouldn't protect me. Although this act is cruel, it is a matter of life and death, and also a last resort. I didn't say much either, just prepared to start directly. With the original golden-haired figure as the central head, 2 additional heads were added on the sides. The modification of this image was not complicated and was completed quickly. Just as Xiaoro finished dressing and was about to leave, I solemnly reminded her, I know you have endured for a long time to have the life you have today. But to keep it a secret, you need to help the black cat give birth to the babies in its belly. Fulfill its resentment, and it will no longer haunt you. Upon hearing this, Xiaoro was startled and exclaimed anxiously, If I give birth to it, how will the neighbors and aunties in the neighborhood look at me? They will gossip and say that the Lee family daughter-in-law must have done something wicked to give birth to a ghostly creature. This is the sin you brought upon yourself, and you must face it on your own. Give birth to it secretly somewhere, and just tell everyone you had a miscarriage. You were destined to have no children, but now you are carrying a ghost fetus. If you can survive this ordeal, it will already be a blessing from the Bodhisattva. Looking at Xiao Rou's departing figure, I didn't say anything more. She is a clever person. She should know how to choose in such a life and death matter. At this time, Miao Qianqian next to me suggested, "Why don't the two of us sneak to her house tonight and watch if the three-headed dog can beat that cat spirit?" I think it's okay. Just as Miao Qianqian and I were talking, a voice came from the door asking, "Are you the traditional tattoo shop that offers blessings, safety, and luck?" "Hello, master. My name is Zhang Qiming. I want to tell you that this is definitely not feudal superstition. I have yin-yang eyes and can see unclean things. Do you believe it?" Upon hearing that the other party has yin-yang eyes, I immediately became interested and replied, "Yin-yang eyes, I believe." Upon hearing that, I believed it. Zhang Qiming placed his hand on his mouth and whispered, "When I was young, I saw two little people lying on the air conditioner, which was particularly scary. I told my dad about it at the time. After investigating, my dad found out that someone had died in that room before. We were so scared that we immediately moved out. Later, I consulted a master and learned the truth. It turned out that the air conditioner was made by hire." As soon as Zhang Qiming finished speaking, he started to laugh heartily while dancing around. Miao Qianqian and I were speechless. I feel like he might be a fool. Later, Miao Qianqian also didn't mince words with him, and just snatched his phone away. She turned to me and said, "This idiot is a popular online streamer, deliberately stirring up trouble to attract traffic. As soon as I heard that, I knew he was here to cause trouble. I won't be polite to him either." I went up and gave him a couple of hits to make him leave quickly. However, Miao Qianqian had a different idea. She squinted her eyes, stopped Zhang Qiming, and said, "This fool coming to us should not be wasted. I have a good idea." After hearing this, Zhang Qiming was so scared that he shivered and quickly said, "Sis, I won't sell my body or organs. Give me a way out, please." In the end, under Miao Qianqian's coercion and temptation, I tattooed a picture of Kue Star kicking the Big Dipper and Zhong Kue catching ghosts on Zhang Qiming. I brought him to Xiao Rou's community to see what the situation was. But I still had some doubts and asked Qianqian, "You already paid for that idiot's tattoo, that's fine. What's the point of bringing him here now?" Upon hearing this, Miao Qianqian turned around and smiled, saying, "Brother, you're silly. He likes to court death so much. If I make him carry Zhong Kue on his body, he won't fear any evil spirits. Tonight, if we encounter that cat spirit, our chances of winning will be even higher." Speaking of this, she also pointed ahead at Zhang Qiming and said, "Little Ming, from now on, you just follow me. Consider that picture on your back as my investment in you. You keep courting death, and in the future, when we make money from live streaming, we split it 50-50. Seeing Miao Qianqian's moves, I couldn't help but sigh. I thought to myself, this girl might have truly fallen into a money pit. She is playing this game more skillfully than anyone else. Not long after, a woman dressed in black suddenly appeared, creating a chill in the air. I felt a bit bone-chilling, but I didn't think much of it. But Zhang Qiming stood motionless, while Miao Qianqian next to him called out to him with no response. Suddenly, Zhang Qiming shuddered and turned his head in great fear, saying, "Brother, sister, did you just see that woman in black with a cat face?" When I heard cat face, I thought to myself, this is not good. Sure enough, the next second, barking sounds were heard not far away. It's the cat spirit that has arrived. I quickly rushed to Xiao Rou's house. As soon as I entered, I saw Cerberus in a fierce battle with the black cat-in spirit. Suddenly behind the black cat-in spirit, a huge phantom appeared. Just with one claw, it directly swatted the hellhound away. Witnessing Cerberus being defeated by the black cat in spirit, Miao Qianqian quickly pushed Zhang Qiming out. She tore off his shirt, Kue start kicking the Big Dipper, Zhong Kue catching ghosts, Zhong Kue appears. In an instant, there was a sudden sound behind Zhang Qiming like thunder. Swoosh! Evil creature! How dare you act recklessly! The majestic voice suddenly came out of thin air. The black cat, trembling violently all over, finally reverted to its original form. It jumped out of the nearby window. Wait for the black cat to leave. The shadow of Zhong Kui on Zhang Qiming's body is gradually dissipating. He leaned against the wall, breathing heavily, and said, "So there really are ghosts in this world, scared me to death." But Xiaorou still seems to be immersed in the fear of the black cat, unable to extricate oneself. I rushed over to comfort and said, "It's okay, it's okay. That thing wouldn't dare to come back in the short term. Just give birth to the child to resolve its resentment. This matter should be over. Don't worry." Xiaorou agreed tearfully. After experiencing a close brush with death tonight, Xiaorou really intends to do as I requested, which also put my mind at ease. I thought things would more or less come to an end here. But just a few days before Xiaorou's due date, an accident happened. Xiaorou walked to the rooftop and jumped down by herself. She was also entangled in power lines during the fall and died. Looking at the scene before me, I broke out in a cold sweat and shivered all over, completely clueless about what was going on. At this time, 3 ghost babies crawled out of Xiaorou's belly. They kept crying out, "Cat spirit, have mercy on us, we were wrong. We shouldn't have abused the cat. Save us." Now I understand as well. Xiaorou was never pregnant with a cat litter in the first place. But it was those 3 college students who abused cats. This is the retaliation of the cat spirit. All things have spirits. Karma retribution. I still couldn't save Xiaorou. I feel very guilty about this. I even deliberately found Zhao, the half-immortal. Zhao, the half-immortal, also heard about Xiaorou's situation. He advised me to be more open-minded. After all, those of us in this line of work inevitably deal with matters of life and death. You don't need to blame yourself too much. Regardless, we have already done our best. If Xiaorou had ended up with me, it would have been even more tragic. I understand his good intentions. After taking a puff of smoke, some of the anxiety in my heart also eased. At this moment, Zhao, the half-immortal, looked at my face and suddenly asked, "But speaking of which, I noticed that your facial features seem a bit off. There's an omen of death on your face. Young man, have you recently gotten involved in something dirty?" Upon hearing his words, I couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. My phone rang the next second. It was an email sent by Xiaorou. Is it scheduled to be sent on the night of expelling the cat spirit? The email stated, "If I am still alive, I will retract this letter. But if you see it, it means I am already dead. You were also involved in what happened back then. Do you still remember Chenlei? It's her. It must be her who has come back." When I saw the name Chenlei, an image of a slightly chubby girl with freckles flashed in my mind. When we were kids, she, Zhang Shun, Xiao Little Lu, Xiaorou, and I used to play together. We grew up together, and she was always bullied by others. That winter, Chenlei fell into the river, and I went to save her. As a result, I ended up lying in bed with a high fever for half a month. However, later I heard that even though Chenlei was pulled out of the water, she didn't survive and passed away. But the events of that year clearly were not as simple as they seemed. Xiaorou's email stated that when you were sick at that time, you had no idea about what happened afterwards. Chenlei was bullied so badly that she jumped into the river to commit suicide. After being pulled out of the water, she hanged herself at the school. Before her death, she left a note under that old locust tree saying, "None of you 4 can escape. You will all end up hanging like me. This is our 4-person hanging pact." I am looking at the content of this email. I couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. I thought to myself that Zhang Shun had his seatbelt tightened around his neck in a previous car accident. Xiao Little Lu was tied up with both hands and ate Xiao Rou. Then when he jumped off a building, he got entangled in electric wires. Is this the hanging pact? To dispel the doubts in my heart, I waved goodbye to Xiao, the half-immortal. I am prepared to go find someone to inquire about what happened back then. If someone tells you that your face has changed like this, caused by mites, would you believe it? After saying goodbye to Xiao, the half-immortal that day, I intended to go back and investigate the events of that year. I didn't expect that as soon as I returned to the shop, a customer came in. A person claiming to be Ning Ke, the owner of a beauty shop, came. Although he is a man, his face was heavily made up, giving a faintly ambiguous feeling of not being able to distinguish between masculinity and femininity. I asked him what kind of tattoo he would like. He suddenly grabbed my hand. He said he had encountered a ghost and asked me to help him. Before I could say anything, he quickly closed the door and then turned around, saying, "Everyone knows about dust mites, right? I work in beauty, and many people have dust mite pimples on their faces. Enlarged pores on the face could be dust mite holes. They just burrow into your pores. I'm going to remove my makeup. Would you please take a closer look, sir?" My girlfriend, little Xian, passed away suddenly from a heart attack not long ago. Strange things have been happening these days. These past few nights when I sleep, I keep hearing rustling noises and feel like something is crawling on me and biting me. But when I turn on the light, there's nothing there. It's mites. They are crawling on me. But I can't find them. Ghosts. It must be ghosts. Sir, you must help me. Seeing him holding his head in pain, I secretly thought to myself, bird tattoos that exorcise pests are not non-existent. Golden winged Garuda, Phoenix, Eagle all would work. But Xiao Little Lu and Xiao Rou's recent events are too strange. I have to be careful. So I asked him to go back first. I need to think of a solution first. After sending off Ning Ke, I feel it is necessary to ask Xiao, the half-immortal, to go and take a look together. Later, I took the 2 beauty cards given by Ning Ke and arrived at the beauty salon he mentioned. Xiao, the half-immortal, said, "Boss Ning is young but already runs such a big business. Something's not right. Boss Ning doesn't have a wealthy destiny. He might have used some dark magic." I have also seen his face before. Thin and spiritless, with a dim career palace, this is a typical sign of failure. This person is destined to fail in all matters, but now he... Are you saying he found a master and used Yin techniques to change his fate? It is very likely. However, since we were already at the entrance of the beauty salon, we decided to go in for a rejuvenating treatment. Whether it's a person or a ghost, we will find out once we sneak out to take a look. As I walked ahead, Zhao, the half-immortal, also talked to me about the issue of remuneration while walking, saying that he should receive half of the reward once the task is completed. After that, we started the beauty and skincare treatment. The technician girl warmly introduced us to the shop's signature rose oil, and said that after applying it, it would definitely make you look 10 years younger. I am enjoying this top-notch service. I didn't say much. Zhao, the half-immortal, also laughed on the side. But wait for the 2 technicians to walk out of the room. Zhao, the half-immortal, began to vomit uncontrollably. He turned to me with a trembling voice and said, "This thing is not rose oil at all. It's human oil extracted from living people, human oil." This malicious beauty salon actually uses human oil for skin care. The so-called human oil is oil extracted from living individuals. Zhao, the half-immortal, immediately recognized the human oil and knew he had encountered a fellow practitioner. He turned his head, held my hand, and said, "Brother, let's go. We cannot afford to provoke such people. They walk their Yangwan road, and we walk our own single wooden bridge. Walking together does not mean being enemies." I am speechless to see him being so cowardly. I lifted him up and told him not to be cowardly. We've already entered. We should always check out the truth of the matter. Later on, Zhao and I, the half-immortal, started wandering around this beauty salon. We just couldn't find that rose oil no matter what. In the end, we saw a strange door in the corridor on the top floor. This should be it. We were both stunned by what was inside when we opened the door. Inside was unexpectedly a small incense altar. In the middle was a mummified body dressed in a red wedding gown. Seeing this scene, Zhao, the half-immortal, was extremely horrified and said, "This Ning Ke is probably involved in a Miao villager's ghost marriage with goo cultivation, human oil refining. Those are their customs. We can't afford to provoke them with just a fortune teller and a tattoo artist. Let's leave quickly." As soon as he finished speaking, a voice came from behind, saying, "Mr. Yu, coming to my beauty salon for treatment, I'm truly flattered. And you've even brought a friend. Is your tattoo design ready? Do I still have a chance to be saved?" When he asked me like that, I instantly felt my scalp tingle, but I forced myself to calm down and said, "Boss Ning, this is not something that can be solved with just a protective tattoo. What's the deal with the mummified corpse enshrined here and the human oil in the club?" When I exposed Ning Ke on the spot, he didn't get angry. Instead, he laughed even more recklessly and said, "Actually, I know I am beyond redemption. I am just holding on to a glimmer of hope. I've killed too many people in my life, and it's all retribution. Even though I wanted to live up to my name, I am still corrupt. Let me introduce you to my wife, little Xin. She raised me, acting as both my foster mother and the person I love the most. Since you both have seen it, let me tell you about it. Some words I've held in for half my life, wanting others to know, so even if I die, I won't feel stifled. You had better pay attention." As he spoke, Ning Ke took a handful of white rice from his pocket. He suddenly slapped himself hard in the face. The next moment, those grains of rice drilled into his face. It turns out that the pores on his face came from this. Ning Ke then began to recall his miserable life. Back then, little Xin and I were kidnapped in the same year. Although little Xin looked like a child, she was actually a 20-something adult suffering from dwarfism. She took me with her, and we escaped together. With nowhere to go, we had to beg on the streets. And that was the real tragedy of my life. Let's start with the story of the oil peddler. The first time we met her, she gave us oil cakes to eat. We all felt that she was a good person. She asked us if we wanted to eat oil cakes every day. Of course, we wanted to. So we followed her back home. After we arrived at the oil seller's house, the two of us started to devour the food. Just as we were eating, the oil seller suddenly said to little Xin, "You are a good one. I have someone to inherit my skills. You should learn from me in the future." At that time, I didn't understand what she meant. Not long after that, I was then thrown harshly into the firewood room by her. In the following days, she kept forcing me to eat oil until the oil started overflowing from my face. She put a bunch of bugs on my face. My pores were stretched open by these bugs. The bugs are digging and moving around inside my pores. I am itching like crazy and really want to scratch, but my hands are tied up and I can't move them at all. At this time, the oil vendor brought another basin of rice. She grabbed a handful and slapped it on my face, feeding me with oily stuff. The human oil that seeped out of my body was the best thing to water the rice grains. The oil seller sprinkled rice grains on me, while introducing little Xin. This is the sinister human rice sorcery of the Miao region. Little Xin stood to the side, nodding without saying a word. The oil peddler then removed the rice from my face. She cooked it into rice, and said that this rice absorbed the nutrients of humans and human oil. Eating it would greatly enhance the body. This is the secret to staying young forever. As she spoke, she didn't forget to forcibly stuff the freshly cooked rice into my mouth, wanting me to taste what the rice I grew tasted like. I hummed and kept my mouth closed, unable to swallow it. The oil woman, seeing that I wouldn't eat it, decided to eat it herself. But just then, Little Xian suddenly appeared behind her, holding up a large rock. She smashed it heavily on her head. I was so shocked to see this scene. Later, Little Xian told me that I had been cursed with a goo, my face was beyond healing, and I could only regularly use oil worms to prevent it from decaying. If she were gone, I would die, as no one else could touch me unless she dies. From that day on, she gave me a new name, Ning K, which means, better to have none than to have something subpar. Learn the human rise sorcery, Little Xian and I continued to embark on our wandering journey. However, the cannibalistic world has not changed. We encountered human traffickers again. But since that time, we have become the ones who eat people. Be careful. Having learned the human rise sorcery, an ordinary adult is no longer her opponent. Little Xian hates the human traffickers who kidnapped us. She catches them and plants rice in them. We plant wherever we go, and this has been going on for many years. It's a pity that people with dwarfism already have a shorter lifespan than normal people. Even though we have been using human oil rice for a long time, we can't stop the erosion of diseases. Little Xian left us like this. God is really too unfair to me. When emotions run deep, Ning K's tears keep flowing. Although tears flow into his pores and hurt like hell, for some reason, when he thinks about these things, his tears just won't stop. He has long regarded Little Xian as his own family. After listening to the whole story, Zhao, the half-immortal, pointed at him and asked, "So you are still cultivating human oil rice? Not only do you eat human oil rice for beauty, but you also use human oil instead of essential oils for your beauty business." Little Xian has passed away. Without her giving you the oil goo, your face started to rot. So you asked me to give you a tattoo. Yes. I have also told you my story. Those human traffickers are heartless and deserve to be punished. I am eliminating harm for the people. But whether to get a tattoo or save me, it's up to you to decide. But if you don't give me a tattoo, I have one last resort. That is to catch you and give you a goo poison, making you rot with me. Then you will have to save yourself, and I will be saved. As the words have been spoken to this extent, I can only promise to help him with the tattoo, but it has to be done tomorrow. However, Ning K said that he couldn't wait until tomorrow. Upon hearing this, Zhao, the half-immortal, immediately understood. He turned around and ran without forgetting to remind me to run quickly. This damn demon never intended to have a proper conversation from the beginning. He is trying to catch us for the human rise sorcery. I see him running so fast. I immediately followed him. But after all, Ning K has been eating human oil rice for many years, which is not in vain. Seeing him striding forward, he knocked me out with a single chop of his hand. Then he grabbed Zhao, the half-immortal, by the arm. I will be right back.